The Golden Knights lose to the Flames 3-1 as Jack Eichel misses the contest due to injury. We recap the latest loss and could the season be getting away from the VGK? More next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. It's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. Chris, Golden Knights lose again. Bury those stinking Winter Classic uniforms, for crying out loud. I'm just sick of them.
Stop it.
They lose 3-1, the final.
So they win the game without those uniforms, Tony? If they're wearing different uniforms, they win the game? Got it.
Going away, they'd score 6 or 7 goals, and those 2 shots that hit the crossbar would go in. And so...
You sound like every fan right now. I thought you're not the fanboy. You sound like every fanboy right now, Tony. Every fan.
Jack Eichel misses the game, and really, again, we don't know how long he'll be out. And now the Golden Knights are trailing in the division by 8 points to the Vancouver Canucks. Who would have thought that would happen? Everyone's closing ground, and the biggest question I have for you is this season starting to get away from the Vegas Golden Knights?
Yes. As the news of Brendon Brisson being called up indicates, there's a panic right now. There's concern. The Golden Knights, I don't have the exact number in front of me, but their lack of 5-on-5 scoring is abysmal right now. Their power play is bad. Their 5-on-5 play isn't good. And yeah, I mean, just looking at the standings right now, the playoff cut line is 47 points between Edmonton and Seattle, it looks like. Problem is Edmonton's played 4 less games than the Golden Knights. The Kraken have played 1 less game than the Golden Knights.
Jeez.
The LA Kings at 48 points have played 4 less games than the Golden Knights.
4 less games. Will they ever win again, though?
Well, there's that. And you say the same about the Golden Knights right now until these injuries work themselves out. But long story short, the season is in the balance right now. And I don't think people, fans, everyone around this team understands the importance of the next 20 to 21 games between now and the trade deadline to what the future of this team, short-term and long-term, is going to look like.
Yeah. In the Flames game that they played on Saturday night, Dorofeev and Barbashev, as we mentioned, they hit the crossbar, and VGK could not overcome giving up those 2 goals in 2 minutes in the opening period, Coleman and Kadri. Again, they give up another power play goal. I don't care who's out there. They definitely are not defending on special teams. And then Backlund scores the final goal off of the Carrier turnover. And, I mean, Chandler Stevenson breaks that 11-game goalless streak in the contest last night, right? Am I right? Yeah?
I think Cotter had the turnover. It was Cotter.
Okay, Cotter, Carrier. Cotter. It was Cotter. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering. Okay, a point I want to make here is you're not getting production out of players that are on the ice. And so Stevenson, finally, he breaks through in the game. Marchessault had that spinning backhander. I thought that might have had a chance. But for VGK, the players that are still in the lineup need to produce. They need to score goals. Marchessault was talking about it post-game, but someone has to really step up at this point.
They need to stop missing the net. I think we can start there. That was a big point of emphasis from Ryan Wallace and Dan Duva in the post game, and it was a very fair assessment. Golden Knights had 43 shot attempts that did not hit the net via blocks or via misses.
Wait. Carlson wasn't in the lineup last night. How could that be?
Colasar was. That explains it. Sorry.
Okay,
I don't fire those zingers too often, but I guess that was due.
That was due.
Dorofeev was effective last night in the sense that the second line, first line, whatever you want to call it right now, was clicking well. But Dorofeev missed the net a lot. The crossbar, yes, it's a miss on the score sheet, but it's not a miss in the grand scheme of things. But a lot of other attempts just missed, and it was brought up in the post game by, like I said, Wallace and Dan Duva. And it was also brought up not directly, perhaps, but by Coach Cassidy in his 3 questions he answered in the post game media scrum. I don't understand how there's only 3 questions last night, but that's none of my business. I guess I wasn't down there. The concern is, and I think this is where Brisson is going to have his opportunity, because they need a shooter who can actually hit the net, and they feel he might be that person, where Dorofeev, Marchessault, Barbashev, Howden, Amadio, all these guys are just not hitting the net enough right now. And like you think about the game, I was up in the seats with Christopher. I wasn't downstairs doing the media stuff last night. Golden Knights weren't awful as far as 5-on-5 play went. Just the wheels came off a couple of times, and this was a big point of emphasis by Cassidy. You have 2 plays where the Golden Knights' big, strong defensemen are simply out-willed in front of their own net. Logan Thompson had a fine game. He did everything he could last night, made a lot of great saves, made a few he shouldn't have. He did what he's supposed to do. You can't have these goals given up, though, where these people are just on the doorstep, and there's, 4 red jerseys in the crease in the Golden Knights. I mean, Pietrangelo, Haig, Whitecloud, these are pretty big dudes. McNabb, these are big dudes. They can handle themselves. And then obviously a terrible turnover. And the biggest point that I want to make right now about my observations about the team, first 20, 25, even 30 games, the Golden Knights were winning games not being at their best. You heard it in the locker room. This was a concern when the Golden Knights were 10-1-2 or whatever the heck they were in the start of the season. Now that the Golden Knights are struggling, it feels like they have to play perfect hockey, not to win, just to have chances in games right now. That's a problem. That's a concern. Yes, there's injuries. The top 2 of the top 3 centers are gone. I'll say the team's top 2 centers are gone in Eichel and Carlson, and we're not going to see either one soon. I'll happily wager that with anybody. We're not going to see either one anytime soon. Stevenson gets a goal. Okay, fine. He needs a lot more. He's the man right now. Nicholas Waugh, we get a chance to see what he's made of. That top line, they were okay, but they weren't great. Barbashev, Waugh, and Marchessault. So it's one game without Eichel. Let's see how Waugh's talents expand, I guess, if that's the way to say it, Tony. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about the Jack Eichel injury. So that absolutely had to have occurred.
He was fine.
He
was fine, he said after the game. He was fine.
Yes, but the next day you could be hurting, too.
No, it's fair. It's fair. Eichel's credit is good with me.
Okay. Leg, hip, like what area? He was hobbling off of the ice. If you were to, it's lower body, did they even make a determination? Did they say anything?
I think it's his left knee. Go back and watch the play. I put the tweet from Hockey 365 or something like that in my Vegas Hockey Now article talking about Jack Eichel specifically. It's breaking: Jack Eichel injured. It's not hard to find. It was, who was the players? No, not Zahorna. Whoever was trying to check Matt Grzelcyk. There you go. Matt Grzelcyk was the one checking Eichel into the boards. Grzelcyk gets most of Eichel's left leg. Clean play. Nothing wrong with the play whatsoever. As Eichel's leg hits the ice, you see him try and push off with his left leg. His left leg buckles. Now, let's hold on a second. Did his left leg buckle because his skate blade was already loose? Because it was connected still at that point. The skate blade was still connected, but it could have been loose, so that could have been the reason he fell to the ice. Or his leg buckled because something was wrong. The second part of that, as Eichel is getting up, he bent in a really awkward manner. Like his left leg was like he was like you're praying in church. Like he was like down like in that motion, and then his back just arched back, and just a lot of weird weight and a lot of weird stuff happening. I mean, it could have happened when he got up and tried to push off with his left leg to push to the bench. Like, There's all these things that could have led to Eichel's injury that, per Cassidy, after he got some more tests, the latest update is he's going to miss a little time, but we don't know how much. They know how much it's going to be, but they're not going to tell you. I'll put the over-under at the All-Star break, and I will take the over pretty confidently. That's just me. Maybe he's back tomorrow, Tony. Who knows, but I don't know. And how about, while I'm rambling here, how about Aiden Hill medically cleared but not even dressing? Like, let's keep it going here. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I know. That's enough of that.
WTS. We're recording on Sunday. WTS.
WTS, yes, for sure. And the last 13 games, VGK 4-9, and they are going sideways, folks. Up next, is this a panic move for the VGK as they call up Brendon Brisson? We talk about this and much, much more later on our preview of VGK and the Preds, as it is our Martin Luther King edition of Locked On Golden Knights. The NFL postseason is here, and of course, there's still time to get into the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place just a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose, and the app is so easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays. Find bets in the new Explore tab. Make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays, and there is much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make it your first bet layup. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Like what I did there, a little trickery there, football, and I tied in the hoops because basketball season's in full swing. And the UNLV Running Rebels got jobbed on Saturday.
They lost that game. I didn't see I saw like the
5-point play, 5-point play at the end of the game. So the Rebels are up by 4, 14 seconds to go.
I saw the 3-pointer.
He hits a 3-pointer, but away from the ball, there's a foul call on the boxing out, and the player from this guy, whose first name is Great of all names. He hits the 2 free throws, game, set, match, 5-point play. A lot of bitter fans.
How do you 5-point play? 5-point play.
I mean, they were over the limit of fouls.
How many hashtag rig do we fire? How many hashtag rig did you fire last night?
No, and I was just like, after the game, I wasn't as bitter because you could have fouled the player that's driving all the way down the court. Foul him. It's just 2 points. You're up by 4. And then there's like 4 or 5 seconds to go. In any event, don't forget WTF, What the Friday. And of course, on Saturdays, the Chris and Chris show. And I heard that little Chris now, he has a lot of drama. He's very emphatic when he now pronounces Calgary.
Yeah, no, he hit the intro pretty well. Hey, Chris, come on really fast. We're live.
Oh, Chris is around. All right, Chris. Happy Sunday. There you go.
Who did the Golden Knights play last night, Chris? Say in the microphone.
The Calgary Flames.
That's all. Good job.
That's it. Thanks, man. Mic drop.
Cameo.
Okay.
He nailed it in the intro, and then even when we were talking last night during the game, Chris, I would say, tell Mommy to make more grilled cheese. That smells really good, by the way. But no, Chris would even say if I would just blurted Calgary, or Calgary, Calgary, how are you supposed to say it? Calgary, right. Whatever. If I said it really fast, in one motion, he would say I said it wrong. Make me say it again with the pause.
Okay. About time. We now have Brendon Brisson called up. You figured when Cassidy even made mention of his name that he would be up soon, Brisson, or Brisson as he calls him. Sorry if I just keep going back and forth with that. But, Cassidy is he's always on the truth serum, right? I'd have to guess, Chris, that he would be a horrible poker player. Is he bad? Do you think he'd be a bad poker player?
When I get Cassidy offline, I'm gonna ask him that very question, honestly, and see what he says.
Because he just starts telling you stuff that maybe he shouldn't be saying. And I'm sure upstairs, the made men are just going bananas when he says some of this stuff. And he'll talk about a player and he goes, yeah, I had torn ACL injury too. Well, you're not supposed to say that, Coach. Okay, so where will this winger, Brendon Brisson, where's he going to fit into the lineup?
That's a good question to start. I mean, is Brisson the right guy? I mean, he's got 23 points. He's a -3, second on the team in points. As far as goals scored, he
10?
is 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. Yeah, he's got 10 goals, tied for fourth on the team. Cracknell, they're not going to call Cracknell up. Rempel, that ship I think has sailed in his career. No disrespect to what he's accomplished in the AHL. Denisenko has had a taste of games, and I honestly think Denisenko might have been the better decision.
Do they
Just
just
because
hang
if they're
on? Do they only hang on to Gage Quinney so his dad could come back for Thunder Day every year?
Gage
Why doesn't that
Quinney's
guy ever get a
NHL
chance?
opportunity is probably behind him, I think is the way I would
Okay.
answer that question.
Okay.
But I mean, no, I understand what they did the Thunder Day on before the Golden Knights game, like dumb, whatever.
I know. 3 p.m. 3 p.m. start. You said, oh, maybe
Who
it
was
starts
to?
at
And
like
the traffic
1 or
was
2.
abysmal getting around there at 5
Great.
o'clock, let alone 5:30 or 5:45. It was
Silly.
terrible.
I don't know. And then they weren't planning on this. Wasn't like a TV game for the AHL. They could have played that game earlier. Would have been a
Yeah,
nice
I mean,
day-night doubleheader, right?
or if they had a
Okay.
game Friday, do it then. All right,
Okay.
moving on. So Brisson, where does he fit in? If they're calling Brisson up, he's going in the top 6. I think that is a foregone conclusion. He's going in the top 6. If I'm not mistaken, Brisson normally plays on the right side. If I'm wrong about that, someone can
Yeah.
drag me on social
No,
media.
he
I don't
does. He
care.
shoots, but
Okay.
he shoots left-handed, right?
Yeah, but that's fine because the puck is coming to you and it's easier to get
Right. But
one-timers
he
and all
does
of that.
play on the right side. More natural players will play shooting
Right.
left-handed on
So
the left side. Okay.
Marchessault recently, I think, has been moved up around this different sides of the lineup. So one option might be Marchessault goes to the left wing, Nick Waugh stays in the middle, and then obviously you have Brisson on the right side. The second line with Stevenson and Stone feels like the safest place for him, and then you have Brisson on the left side, though. I don't know how comfortable he would be on that side. But the issue that I have personally with that is the second line is the only driving line right now. It's the only line with Stevenson, Dorofeev, and Stone. That was the best line last night by far. The fourth line actually wasn't terrible, being a two-thirds of an AHL line. I'm not going to say anything else about that. So most likely, I think you go Nick Waugh, Marchessault, Brisson. Who's on what side of that remains to be seen. And now you hopefully have a little more scoring from the top line. How Brisson might help this team? I mean, in 5-on-5 play, I've seen him get lost in the shuffle at the AHL level. Does that mean he might not do better at the NHL level? Of course not. Players click differently in different systems, and more skilled players around them, Brisson might shine, and it'd be friggin' wonderful. The Golden Knights need it now more than ever. The power play obviously is where Brisson hopefully can earn his money for a little bit and really help the Golden Knights. That's where they're struggling. They're struggling in a lot of places, but if they can at least get the power play going, that's going to help. Brisson has a wonderful shot from the right circle, not necessarily Alex Ovechkin, but he certainly has a very lethal one-timer quick release. The problem with that, Golden Knights rely on, it's not an old school power play where one guy gets their big old booty in front of the goalie, Tony Cardasco. They rely on motion. They rely on movement. They rely on getting the defense moving. They rely on getting the goaltender, the opposition's goaltender, going east and west across the crease. If the Golden Knights can't get that motion going, Brisson will be a non-factor on the power play, as every player on the power play has been as of late. If the Golden Knights motion can get going, then Brisson will have a chance to make an impact. So that's why I keep going back to the panic situation. Are the Golden Knights better with Brisson in the lineup than Byron Froese? Of course, probably. I think that's a fair thing to say, but how is this all going to shake out? Dorofeev going to the third line now? That's not a good spot for him, Tony.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of moves to be
panic.
made
It's
for
panic.
VGK. And the defensemen are also, like, I think, overplaying or pinching too much, or I think they're trying to get the defensemen more involved to score. They're trying everything right now, but in doing so,
Petrangelo looked okay yesterday, I will say.
didn't he get beat on that 2-on-1 on the last goal on the
Sure,
turnover?
but you got to turn over where it started. I mean, that shouldn't have happened in the first place. But
Okay.
maybe I'll say it differently. Petrangelo, you felt that there was an honest effort out of him to do more in the offensive zone. I felt
Yeah.
he had a little more confidence. I felt he had more speed on display. I felt he was trying to impose his will on the game, whereas a lot of the time he has been getting lost in the shuffle as of late. So credit there to Petrangelo for trying to do something. And that's probably the end of where my credit ends, I think.
Yeah. And then Brisson played. Gosh, I got to stop calling him Brisson. Brisson played for VGK in the preseason, and I thought he accounted for himself pretty well. He had a couple of goals, and I thought he played pretty well. And I always thought that he would be the next man up if they needed someone on the wing. But I'm not quite sure what the story is there. Do they feel as though he's not developed enough yet for the
Bingo.
NHL level? What do you think the issue could be that's held him back?
I believe the team feels that his time is not right now, at least leading up to this moment. Denisenko had played 20 or something NHL games before, so it definitely made sense. Although Denisenko on the fourth line was not the best idea for the team as well, unfortunately. But I don't know how many options they even had in that circumstance. So, do the Golden Knights need to rush Brendon Brisson? And the answer is no. But Brisson checked a lot of boxes in the preseason. Yes, it's preseason, but it's still preseason. And
No, I thought he could. I thought he could stick. I did.
no, I thought so too. And I dug up some old interviews that I did from him in the preseason after games that he scored in and stuff. And he mentioned that from a year-over-year perspective, he knows what it takes now to try and earn a chance at this level. He understands what it takes, the work that needs to go in. He understands the off-the-puck movements that he needs to learn to get to those soft spots and everything. So, this is his time, and I really hope he can be the difference. And, the Golden Knights don't need a savior, but they need someone to keep the ship from sinking right now, because it's going to be tough without Karlsson and Eichel, Theodore and Aiden Hill. I mean, they lost their number one goalie. They lost their most mobile defenseman. They lost their two best centers. Stevenson is the third best center on this team, and it's a long gap from his skill set to William Karlsson's skill set, at least as of late, based on his scoring output. So, what's happening isn't unexpected, but if Brisson can maybe for the next 8 to 10 games do his parts in helping the team achieve a 500 record, and then hopefully after the All-Star break, one of those four guys comes back, and then a couple games later, another one of those four guys comes back, then everything's going to be okay. But if Karlsson and Eichel are gone for the next 15 to 20 games, no playoffs. It's done. End
No,
story.
they could solve one issue because Brisson has that clapper. He's got he's able to shoot on the one-timer. He's able to
That's what
score.
you're saying. Okay.
I said
Yeah.
clapper because I was I don't know who I'm imitating.
Is
there,
that what
but
they
yes,
call a
he's got
one-timer? I honestly have
a
never heard
clapper,
that
a
before.
clapper. Yeah, like a slap shot clapper. No,
Are you making this up?
a clapper.
I know.
Okay, we're going to go to break, and we can discuss more of this when we return. Coming up next, our preview of VGK, clap ahead, VGK and Nashville. We'll talk about that when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Shouldn't record on a Sunday. Gametime is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. Gametime has deals on tickets right up until the start of the event, and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find some last-minute seats, find exclusive flash deals, sponsor deals on tickets for football, basketball, the National Hockey League, especially that matinee coming up on Monday at 3 o'clock between VGK and the Predators. And with zone deals, you can pick the action. Gametime will pick the seats. It's an average of 18% savings. And the Gametime guarantee means that you will always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, Redeem with the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest priced, guaranteed. Welcome back. Locked On Golden Knights, this Monday edition of our show.
You call it Sunday.
And
I'll put it out today. It's Sunday.
okay,
It's Sunday.
it is Sunday. And it's Sunday Fun Day on the show, too. We're having some fun here. There was VGK had a players meeting like we thought that they might. Was there a players meeting when? Before the game on Saturday?
I think so. I don't know who reported it or where it came from. I know local guys reported it, and I don't know when it was, but I mean, rah, 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 yippee, yay, yay. But I mean, they need just the health is such a problem right now. Call it what it is. It's a circumstance. It's a circumstance.
Well, again, they're trying to be number one in man games lost. So that could be the narrative for the rest of the season. Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Oh, so my grilled cheese is ready. We got to hurry this up, Tony.
So 8 or 9 players out now currently for VGK. So let's talk about the Predators a little bit. They're still hanging in there, I guess you could say. And Alexander Carrier, is it Carrier for Carrier or Carrier?
Carrier, 100%.
Okay. Beat the Islanders, 7.9 seconds to go with a clapper for the win. I don't know if it was a clapper, but they played back-to-back games. I think they beat Dallas and the Islanders, and this will be their third game in 4 days coming up for the Philippe Forsberg-led Nashville Predators, he has 22 goals, 25 assists for the Preds.
Yeah, I mean, this starts the road trip. The first game for the road trip is always kind of weird for teams. So the Golden Knights got that going for themselves, I guess. Kind of just echoing the stats here. I'm guessing Saros will be the goalie. The Golden Knights will be facing.
You see how bad he's having a bad season. It's been the reason why they're losing.
He's 901 and a 302, 17 and 15. I mean, Kevin Lankin in the 6 and 3, but his goals against and save percentage are worse. So that's simply he's getting some luck. Askarov is a rookie. They're giving him some spot starts every now and then. We'll see. Hey, and Askarov is 1-0 with a 9.43 save percentage. So maybe they should play a rookie. I mean, the Golden Knights, they're making all these goalies look really good as of late. So Askarov might be the man in line to get that next. Like you said, I mean, Nashville's there. They made a lot of moves. You got Barry Trotz, got the fan base a little bit rejuvenated with some of the moves they made around the draft day. They shedded so many bad contracts like Duchesne and stuff like that. So the Preds are in that transition, and they're having fun. They're competitive, the players that have been there for a little while. So they got some juice. They got some energy. They're in Vegas probably right now having a good time, be nice and relaxed coming to the game. And I don't know. I mean, is a game on January the 15th on a Monday afternoon against the Nashville Preds like going to be the most important game of the Golden Knights season right now? Like, is this really happening?
I know. In this Predators team, though, again, every team that's been coming in, though, too, they're pretty hot. Like, this is a team since I think I saw December the 3rd, rigged, absolutely, 14-5-1. So you have another team that's coming in here playing some good hockey. I mean, it's crazy, right? Because now, like, again, it was where VGK, the Flames came in here. What do they won now? 6 of 8. Calgary. Go figure. Every team they play is hot.
This is a month where the Golden Knights have 7 home games. In those, they've played 4 of those home games right now. They've only won 2 of those home games. That's a concern right now. I mean, this is really the month, or at least the time, when they needed to bank some points. And now you have the Rangers on Thursday. Unfortunately, you got the Penguins on Saturday. Riley Smith is out long-term, so I don't think we're going to get to see at least him on the ice. I don't know if he's traveling, if there's going to be the welcome back hoopla and all that. I don't know. But we know we're not going to get Riley Smith on Saturday, which is a good break for the Golden Knights, to be fair. But then they got back-to-back road games with 2 days off in between leading up to the All-Star break. So it's not good, Tony. It's not good. No, if the Golden Knights can rip off 6 points in these next 3 games, okay, fine. But what's your faith level in that happening right now? No. Okay, over-under. Over-under 3.5 points in these next 3 home games.
Under.
I think
Yeah, I think somebody's going to step up here. I think he'll get 4 points. I'll go with the
I'll
hope.
give him 1-1-1, 1 win, 1 loss, 1 OTL.
Okay, so you got 3 points there. For the Predators, I saw that I think Denis Gurianov is back playing with this team. I saw he hasn't played much, but correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you remember, but didn't they put him on waivers? So they picked him up as a free agent from Dallas, and then I think they put him on waivers, and then I think they somehow got him back in the lineup here recently. I don't know if he was down on the AHL level, but he was a pretty good player, I thought, when he was playing for Dallas for Pete DeBoer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot to add to that. I see the name. I see he's played 4 games. He's got 2 points
4
so far. I
games.
don't know if
Huh.
how that's whole thing's
I don't
shaken
think he
out.
was
Cody
injured, though.
Glass, but Cody Glass, I don't know if he's injured. He only played 17 games. So that would be unfortunate if we don't get to see him tomorrow. I mean, Forsberg, 48 points. O'Reilly, 38 points. Yossi from the defensive spot, 36 points. That's big. All three of their centers are scoring well, 34 and 21 points. I mean, so there's, this isn't going to be
Some
an easy
concern,
game
yeah.
for the Golden Knights. Not going to be
Uh,
good.
I will say one final thing here. When you look at VGK, they are having the same issues, I feel, with the Silver Knights. Daniel D'Amato said, "We'll take a look at the video, blah, 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 blah." But I think right now, every guy is going to have to look at themselves in the mirror. I think everyone's got to give it more, including myself. Are they watching all the VGK pressers here with the players?
It's cliche season. It's cliche season.
It is
And,
cliche.
and
Is
you
that
see this when
SCN?
teams,
That's SCN
I guess
season.
so. That's how the cool kids are doing it these days. No
Yeah.
idea. But I mean, that's, the more teams use cliches, the more they're struggling. And that's you're going to see it, right? I mean, we already see it happening. You're going to see it happening more and more and more. And the more cliches you get, the farther this team is going to be away from the playoffs.
All right. Don't forget, coming up, of course, later this week, WTF with the Friday on Fridays. Saturdays, it's the Chris times Chris show. Good thing we don't play, we won't be seeing Cal Gary here in the not too distant future. They're not going to be playing them, I don't think, anytime soon. Well, we'd like to thank again and show our appreciation to our everydayers who just tune in every day for all these shenanigans and me calling slap shots clappers. From my man Chris Golick,
Look that up. I think I call
I'm making stuff up. From my man Chris Golick, Tony Cardasco here in Las Vegas. We appreciate you tuning in, and we will be back again on Tuesday with a recap of the VGK Nashville game and much, much more, and probably 3 or 4 more injuries. Appreciate you tuning in. See you next time right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.